Hello, my name is Keshwani. It's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 175. Please turn to page 175, and today is our lesson number 183. Problem number 164 is what we're going to do. The very top problem, the very first problem in the second column. 164. We are asked to find the value of x to the fourth minus x cubed plus x squared over x minus 1, and we are told that x equals to negative 1. Let's find it. X to the fourth is just negative 1 to the fourth, which is positive 1. X to the third is going to be negative 1 cubed, and since it's an odd power, negative 1 will remain negative 1. So negative 1 and negative 1 is going to become positive 1. And then we have x to the negative 1 is going to become positive 1. So we have 1 and this negative becomes positive and positive. So on the top we have positive 3. On the top we have positive 3. And on the bottom we have x minus a negative 1. And x minus a negative 1 is simply negative 1 minus 1, which is just negative 2. So the whole thing boils down to positive negative 3 over 2, which is answer choice A. That's it. Let's do the next one. 165. In 165, we are given a triangle here. We know this is a right angle. This we are told is y, this is x, and this is z. Now in the book itself, it does not actually say triangle. What it says is that we are dealing with a corner of a rectangular garden. And because of the fact they tell us that it is a rectangular garden, therefore it is a 90 degree. And we are told that x equals y plus 2. They tell us that in the problem. In the problem they tell us that x equals y plus 2. What is the question asking? They're asking how much z is. Let's find out. Area of a triangle we know. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. 1/2 base is y times height, which is this guy, y plus 2. And we are told that that area equals 24 in the problem. It says the area of the flower bed is 24 square yards. This is the flower bed we're talking about. It's 24. We multiply both sides by 2. If we multiply both sides by 2, we can get rid of this 2. And we end up with y times y plus 2 equals 48. Now at this point we have two choices. We can either bring this 48 on this side and make it into y squared. This is what we can do. Y squared plus 2y, and bring the 48 to the other side, minus 48 equals 0. We could do that and solve this as a quadratic equation. But I don't think it's necessary here. I don't think it's necessary because it's a very simple equation. Very simple equation. Look. We have two numbers, one is y and one is 2 more than that. When you have one number and the other one is just 2 more than that, which simply means that we are dealing with either 2 consecutive odd numbers or 2 consecutive even numbers, because the difference is 2. Well, they could hardly be 2 consecutive odd numbers, because if you had 2 consecutive odd numbers like 3 and a 5, 2 consecutive odd numbers, their product is an odd number. The product of 2 odd numbers is odd number. 3 times 5 is an odd number. Here we have 48, which is an even number. So we're not dealing with 2 consecutive odd numbers, we're dealing with obviously 2 consecutive even numbers. Well, that's very straightforward. It's straightforward because it's such a small number, it could hardly be that much difficult to find it. Yeah, obviously it's not 2 times 4, because 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is not 48. Obviously it's not 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. That's not 48. Let's try 6 times 8. Voila. 6 times 8 is the answer. Which means y is 6. And then we have 6 plus 2, which is 48. That's it. Y is equal to 6. If y is 6, then x must be 8. So the triangle that we're dealing with here, is 6, 8, and the question is, what is this? Again, what is z? There are two ways again you can go about it. You can either use the Pythagorean theorem and figure out what z is, which is not a very difficult thing to do. It's a very straightforward process. Z squared equals 6 squared plus 8 squared, which is 36 plus 64, which is 100, and therefore z is 10. Or we could have realized, instead of doing this thing, we could have realized, if you were able to recognize it right away, that what we're dealing with here is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. It's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, but the 3, 4, 5 triangle in the exam does not actually appear in a plain 3, 4, 5 attire. It does not stand there and say, look at me, I'm a 3, 4, 5 triangle. He comes incognito. He comes in disguise. Here we're dealing with we're dealing with a 3, 4, 5 triangle. This is a 6, which is same as 3 times 2. This is an 8, which is same as 4 times 2. Therefore, the hypotenuse must be 5 times 2. Voila. The answer is 10. The question was, how much is z? Z is 10. Now, if you still do not know what I'm talking about, obviously you do, but if you want to get some more familiarity with it, and if you want to look at some other weird example of a 3, 4, 5 triangle as they may appear in the exam, and if you're interested in it, a 3, 4, 5 triangle, where can I put it? A 3, 4, 5 triangle, you can go to my channel and look for Geometry Day 7. Or you don't even have to go to my channel, just type in Geometry Day 7 along with my name and it will pop right up. Even without my name, I think you wouldn't have too much trouble finding it. Just type in Geometry Day 7 or Geometry for GMAT if you like, to be more precise. Geometry for GMAT Day 7 and it will pop right up. Watch that video where we deal with a notion of 3, 4, 5 triangle. Alright? Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.